Good evening, welcome, thank you for joining us. My name's Barry.
I'm Jay.
And together we are, no I don't think I do know my name. And together we are Mitosu Crafts.
Welcome to our channel. So this evening, Barry will be creating a gift box for his last week's Fun Fold Friday, which is the shadow box frame. So yes, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you are watching the replay, do fast forward to the demonstration if you prefer, as we'll say hello to those who've joined us live. Thank you so much. So we have Linda, hello, Deborah, Pauline, we also have Susan, Mary Lou, Quinn, Cheryl, Lani, love it, Sandra, Jackie, Elliot, Jessel Dussel Craft with Janice, Margaret, Janet M, Joanna, Charlotte, Gian, Cray, I think that is Lisa, Elizabeth, and I believe that is everyone. Thank
Excellent.
you so much.
So, good evening and welcome. So as Jay mentioned, it's going to be a simple box. It's just going to be a simple square box, but sometimes the simple boxes, some people don't know how to, they still won't know how to do them, or have never made a simple box. So it's just going to be a square box, nothing fancy to it. I'm just going to decorate it with a little bit of DSP. Jay's going to come in and tie a lovely bow around it. And that's it. But some of you may struggle with making boxes, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So to make sure that you get a perfect box with a perfect fitting lid, he says. Yeah. So with the technique, which I do, it's done me well so far. It never fails. So we will see. Hopefully tonight it will carry on with the technique going as well. But do remember, you can purchase anything which you see us using. So do head over to our online shop. Details are on the screen right now. You can do mitosucrafts.com/shop. And you can purchase and order your Stampin' Up craft supplies from us via our website. So, did I blink? I saw a hand coming towards my face. So, yes, so that's that. One day he's going to do that. Just like, I didn't see you there.
I will now.
Have we had anyone else pop
Amanda
in there? Yes.
It's in. Hello, hello.
Lovely. I remember to an inch to the box. I don't really get you what you're saying there. Sorry, that's fine. I'm not computing. So anyway, let's go over and let's show you how to make a box.
Come on, Tommy. You can have your seat back, or my seat. Oh, yeah. Hi, Sandra.
Hello. Okay, so hang on, we've just got to let Jay out because Tommy won't let him. So there we have it. So this is what I made last week. So if you wanted to see how to do it, just go back and check out last Friday's Fun Fold Friday and how to make a shadow box frame. That's correct, Linda. Charlotte, yeah, it's the 16th of an inch is the secret. So we are going to grab my trimmer, which is here. I'm going to be doing a white box. I'm decorating it with some designer series paper, and all we need is some white, basic white, thick, or some coloured cardstock will work fine. So I'm just going to go through the maths for you on how to work this out. So I'm not guessing or anything. I'm going to measure this and show you how to do it. So square boxes are very, very easy because you only have to measure one side, and it's going to be the same for the opposite side because they're exactly the same. When you're coming to do rectangle ones, you just need to measure both sides and then add them all both together, and then you'll get it. So with doing a square, I'm going to measure the actual size of my project. So this is 4 inches. It's 4 inches and 1/16 of an inch, but I don't want a box that tight because I've got to fit it in. So let's have a little bit of breathing room. So I reckon we can go for Well, we can go for 4 1/4. So let's just keep that simple. Let's go for 4 1/4, and I'm just going to a bit of paper, and I'm just going to put 4 1/4 down here, and I'm just going to put a plus sign that side and a plus sign that side there. Okay. Then I'm going to then turn it onto the side, and you're going to want to measure the height of it. So we would go to 1 1/4 on this one here. So I'll go 1 1/4, and it's going to be 1 1/4 the other side as well, because it's 1 1/4, 4 1/4, and then 1 1/4 down. It's exactly the same the other way as well, because it's a square frame. If it was rectangle, you'd measure that side as well, so you get your size of paper. So then all you want to do is you then just want to add these together. So we've got 4, 5, 6 and 3/4. So what I want to do is for my base, I want to take a bit of cardstock measuring 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay. Now if you're doing that in centimetres, then what you need to do, I'll just show it to you in centimetres quickly. If you're going to do that, if you want that in centimetres, you do it exactly the same, but just measure it in centimetres. So let's say that's 11 centimetres going across that side. So I'm going to pop 11 as being my middle number, put a plus side either side, and then I will then measure in centimetres my height, which is 3 centimetres. So 3 and 3. So we're going to have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we will have a 17 by 17, or 17 squared basically, a 17 by 17 piece of paper. So it's exactly, so you just measure the whole thing and then just add it together. So we're going to work in the inches though for this one. So we said 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. Which is going to be that one there. Okay, and our measurement for our scoring is going to be 1 1/4, which will be this one right here. So we know we've got 1 1/4, and we will then measure. Now you can either do this with the trimmer if you want, or you can, if you have it, which I don't actually know where it lives anymore. Oh, it's there. If you have one, you have a scoring tool. I've got it. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go at 1 1/4. And the reason I like using our Simply Scored is the fact that you can butt it up and you're going to get the same measurement. You're not going to have any deviation with slightly missing the measurement or getting it slightly out. So work on this and go 1 1/4, and you do that on all 4 sides. So it's always going to be butted up into the corner. We'll do 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/4, and 1 1/4. Okay, and then we can then just pop this down here for the time being. Now I'm going to fold and burnish. So I'm just having a little look at, can you eventually show us a box to hold? Or so to give, to actually gift like 4 or 5 cards in one box. Is that what you're asking, Susan? Yeah. Okay, so that's that. I can work that. We can work that out for you. And then so I fold and burnish, and then I'm going to then snip down, and then I notch in. I turn it round. Snip down, notch in. Snip down, notch in. And snip down and notch in. Okay, then we want to then use some glue, and we then want to then pop some glue on a tab and then stick this together. Now this is a part I always say to you, pay attention to this part, take your time, make sure that something is stuck before you move on to the next part, because this has a tendency to slip and slide, especially if you're using wet glue, but I like using wet glue so I can, if I haven't got it if things aren't looking lined up, I can manipulate it, because if you use a tape it will stick straight away, and where you stuck it is where it's staying. So wet glue is your friend on this, but just take your time, make sure you use your heat from your fingers between that to kind of like to warm it up, and then to stick it before you move on to your next one. And just make sure that you pop it down. I like to try and pull a little bit so at the tops, and I just make sure everything's looking straight, nothing's ski-whiff, everything's looking nice and tidy, as you would expect from a box. Okay, so it doesn't take, the wet glue, the Tombow glue especially, doesn't take long to grab and hold before you can move on. My little tip for the last one is make sure that as you're sticking this last one down, the second to last one down, this one is inside the box, because like then it wasn't, and then that's going to be stuck, and then I'm going to struggle to then get that in. So make sure your last one is inside the box when you stick the second to last. So a little bit of glue on there, that's inside, around, and I kind of pull up a little bit so that it's flush along the top. It kind of just tightens the box up a little bit as well. So that's that, and then we can then just move on to the last one. And I haven't done a prototype of this, so if my maths are wrong, then it's not going to fit, because it looks quite large. No, that's fine. I'm just going to pop the lid on the glue like that, and then that then fits in there perfectly. Okay, there's a little bit of wiggle room, but that's fine. You can wrap it in some tissue. That'd be good. So that fits in nicely. That there is going to, we can have it that way. So then that goes down like that. But yeah, so that's the base. So now the next part is the part which people will struggle with, because you will make it too tight and then you can't get your lid to fit. But first thing we want to do is we want to decide whether or not we want the lid to be flush down to the bottom, or whether or not we want it to stop halfway. So with this, the measurements we take again on this one here is the measurement across the middle is always going to be the same. So you're going to be looking at 4 1/4. Okay, that's always going to be this measurement. What we want to do is we want to decide if we want it to be an exact same size as this here down. It's going to basically be exactly the same size plus a 1/16 of an inch. If we want it to come down, we then want to decide on how far down we want it to be. So say 1/2 inch, and then you would then go have half either side. Okay, so you would have a so that's 4 1/4. That would be 5 1/4 squared. But don't cut that just yet, because we've got to add a 1/16 of an inch to that. So 5 1/4, or if we're doing exactly the same size, it will be 6 3/4 squared plus a 1/16 of an inch. The 1/16 of an inch is the important part. Okay, so 1/16 of an inch is approximately, we're looking at, we've got to be going at probably around about 2 millimeters. So in centimeters, you're going to be looking at around about 2 mil. Okay, so I'm going to grab myself another piece here. I will do this. I'm going to do it as a 5 1/4. So I'm going to take this in and I'm going to measure it up at 5 1/4. Then I'm going to then add a 1/16 of an inch. So 5 1/4 and a 1/16 of an inch. Then I can then cut. Let's do 5 1/4 and a 1/16 of an inch. Then I will then cut. Okay, it's that 1/16 which is your key. So that there, if I bring this in, or 2mm, you can see there on there I've gone to 5 1/4, and then I've just taken it up to a 1/16 of an inch. And on the other side we are at 5 1/4, and then I've taken it to a 1/16 of an inch. And then I will then score this at 1/2 inch all the way around. So again, let's use my Simply Scored to be consistent with this. So we're going to take it in as half an inch. By doing it this way, so that we've got a slightly smaller lid, so it's not coming down. We don't need to punch in finger holes to be able to get it off. Same thing. Let's fold and burnish. And then do exactly the same process as before. Yeah, so Susan, if it was Susan that asked the question, wasn't it, about the thing? So basically, Susan, what you want to do is exactly the same process as what I'm doing now. You want to measure, obviously, your standard size of your cards. So this,
measurements on
okay,
those.
Jay's done it already. Okay, that's good.
But I just said it just depends on how high the
Yes, it is. So yes, you want to kind of like measure these measurements, but depending, like as Jay said, if you've got some really chunky cards, you're going to need to measure it this way to find out that measurement. If they're all really single layer cards, it's going to be quite simple. They'll be quite flat. But so yes, it all depends on how high and how chunky your cards are to determine that measurement. So the same thing, pop some glue on these tabs. Don't use too much glue. Less is more, I say, when it comes to the tabs. Because you don't want your glue spilling out. And Tombow glue, in my opinion, I think is probably one of the best glues which we've used for sticking down. So got that one, and the same thing. Make sure that tab and that tab are in. On the lid, there will be potentially some which might, it's going to be a bit, because you've got that 1/16 of an inch, you may not get it completely flush, as I was trying to do on the base. But let's not worry about that. Yeah, Charlotte, those acetate boxes which we used to sell were nice, weren't they?
I think we still have some.
I think, yeah, we do still have them. We'll have a couple at least. So again, I'm just paying attention, making sure we've got nice lines, nothing ski with. We haven't got bits sticking out like this. It's kind of, I'm just making sure that everything is nice and straight. And if we are correct, that there will then go on with no issues. You've got yourself a box which will fit, and a box which will hold. I'm not pinching this, and it's quite a loose lid, but and because obviously it's only 1/2 inch down, it's not as grippy as a full length one, but that there is a lid which will, isn't going to fall off. It's not, it will do eventually because it's not on there, but that's how you do that. I am just going to show you because I just want to show you the full lids. I don't think I can get it out of that one there. So if you wanted to do it as a full lid, we have got some more basic white thick J cannon, haven't we?
Have we? Yes, we do.
So if you're wanting to do it with the first measurement I've done, so you want it to be the same going down all the way down to the bottom, so you can then punch some finger holes in it. We're going to take it to 6 3/4 plus a 1/16 of an inch. So 6 3/4 plus a 1/16, and then cut 6 3/4 plus a 1/16, and then cut. So that there is basically the same size as the base with a 1/16 of an inch added onto it. I know what I say there kind of contradicts itself, so just bear in my head it makes sense. And then we still score it exactly the same, so 1 1/4 on all sides. So this may be a little bit easier for you. Doing the smaller ones is a little bit more fiddly when scoring. Having a bigger drop is definitely a lot easier. Okay. Fold and burnish. So does anyone struggle making boxes here? I love making boxes. I think that since I learnt this technique of just doing the 1/16 of an inch, it just made it so much easier. I'm gonna put it out there. So, or would you like it as a separate video? Would you like me to quickly do a rectangle box for like a standard size card? I can quickly do that, can't I, Joe? Yeah. But I'll probably use some old retired cardstock rather than some. Could you grab me some out? Oh, you've got a cat. That's fine. I can grab it when.
I've got an excuse.
Jay's got. I need some stuff. So, would you like me to do a rectangle box? For kind of like cards, I can quickly show it to you. I will use it as a retired cardstock, because until our order turns up, we are a little bit low on basic white thick.
No, we should have some more in that bottom drawer.
Okay, all right.
Yes, please.
Okay. So it's exactly the same process. If you're cutting your both pieces together, do make sure you label what is going to be the top and what is going to be the bottom. Otherwise, it won't really make a difference because you're going to be scoring them. If you're doing it this way, where they're going to be the same drop, it won't make any difference. If you're doing it where it's a smaller drop, naturally the smaller one is going to be the lid. But just make sure that you keep hold of it. Yeah, Janet, just take your time when making boxes, and again, I see it a lot. Just make sure that your edges are tidy, because if you don't pay attention to those edges and you move on too quickly, this side slips because you haven't dried it, or you've used a permanent like the Stampin' Seal Plus, which is great, but it will stick straight away. And if you're slightly off, it can throw the whole box out. So wet glue, take your time, making sure that everything is nice and straight. If you're going to have a lip, make sure that the lip is parallel to each other. It's not ski whiff, because that makes a big difference. Okay, so that there is my lid. I'm quite confident this will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a punch. Now I've grabbed the Best Labels punch right here. If you want to, you can. Now again, fortunately this has worked for me because the drop, I'm able to get the punch in. If this was smaller like this, I wouldn't be able to do it, so I would have to manipulate. So if you are going to be doing like if you want to pop some finger holes to get the lid in, it's sometimes if this is too small, you're going to need to do it before you stick it together. But this is perfect, so I can just go in. I can then line it up roughly central, and I'll just pop a little finger hole in there. Do it exactly the same the other side. A little finger hole in there, and that just went in my mouth. And there you've got something there which you can grip. And then this fits on, no issue. I'm not struggling to get that on. It sits on there, and then it falls off, but it takes a little bit of time. So that 1/16 of an inch, 2mm is all you need. Okay, so that's how you make a square box with a full lid, full side drop down, or a small drop down. Okay, that could have probably been 3/4 of an inch rather than 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is quite small on that. But yeah, that's probably a little bit more in keeping. Let's go with that one there. So then all you would need to do with that one is then decorate it with a little bit of DSP. So we grab let's grab ourselves some of the, what one do I want to use? Decisions. What paper do I want? Because I used this one on the inside for the decoration of the inside of the frame, I'm going to use the same pattern on the outside. So we know that this is measuring. Well, it's going to be measuring 4 4¼ plus 1/16 of an inch. So if I take this to a nice 4x4 square, we know that that's going to fit in quite nicely. Don't need to do nothing fancy with the decoration on this. We just need to come up, pop a nice little bit on here, like that. And then it doesn't just need a. We keep it as a nice white on white, and then Jay can come and tie a nice bow around it. So that goes on like that, and then you can do the same for the sides as well if you're doing that. But again, if you're going to decorate the sides and you're going to be punching out a finger hole on that one, you may want to do that beforehand. But I'll just keep it nice and simple like that for the time being, and that there is a simple square box which you can make for anything. Just use the maths which I gave you for that, and you can then design a box for any piece of any project you want. So let's have a little look at a rectangle. Just bear with me one moment whilst I get myself some. Do you mind me using white card, Joe? Oh no, I use.
It's fine.
Oops. Okay, let me just get some more white card. Let me just see what I've got. So you want to see a rectangle card. So I think these are going to be too small for this, but these would always come in handy for card bases, toppers, and so on.
What did you score the second one? 1 1/4.
1 1/4. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so basically, is that a question or somebody asked that?
That was Marie's question.
Okay. Yeah, so basically the second one which I did here, it's the same drop as you did. It's the same scoring measurements as you did for the base. It would always be the same. It's just that 1/16 of an inch which you've added to the lid, which is the only difference. If you're doing it with a smaller one like this one, it depends on how much you've measured you want your drop to be, and that's what you score it at. So on that particular one was 1/2 inch. Okay. So when it comes to a rectangle one, so I'll use this card which we've got right here as an example, okay? So let's grab my paper with my maths. I'm going to go with a pencil because it's a bit easier to write with. So when you're doing a rectangle one, again, you want to measure the width. So this here is, as far as I know, this was sent to us from the US. So this will be, because this was your thank you card, Jay, for you, wasn't it? Mm. So this will be the same sizes as what I'm sure you would use. But again, if you're doing the UK and you're using our sizes, the same principle, just measure it. So we're going to measure the width here. Okay, so that there is 4 inches and 3/8. So let's go 4 and 3/8. Okay, then we want to know what height we want it to be. So let's say, for example, you want to get a couple of cards in this. They're all roughly around about the same size. So let's say, for argument's sake, let's say 1 inch on this one. So I'm going to then plus 1 inch either side. So that'll be 1 inch here. Then it's going to then be 4 and 3/8, which will be that size. Okay, and then it will be 1 inch down. So that's one, but we've got 2 different sizes on this one. So I still want 1 inch either side, because that side and that side has got to match this one here. So we know that those ones are going to be the same, but the only measurement we're going to change on this one now is this one. So we just want to measure this one here. So that there is going to be 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So 5 and 5/8. Okay, so then we just want to then add all of these together. So we've got 4, 5, 6 and 3/8 by 5, 6, 7 and 5/8. So for the box base, I need to cut a piece of paper here which is measuring 6 and 3/8 by 7 and 5/8, and that there is my maths done for that one. So let's see whether or not this worked out. Yeah, okay, so my offcut, which I had from earlier on. So actually I'll use that as for the lid, because that will work. So I've got my A4 piece, so I'm going to measure this here to 6 and 3/8. So which is that there. By 7 and 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is that one right there. Our first measurement which we had was 1 inch. So I know that I'm going to score this at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Take it to 1, 1, 1 and 1. And fold and burnish. And then we just cut and notch in. So cut and notch. Cut and notch. Cut and notch. Cut and notch. Okay. Grab your glue and a little bit of glue. You can see where I kind of pop my glue, not too much to the outside, more in the centre, because then when I stick it together, it will then squidge out. Hi, Mary.
We've also had Mandy Allen.
Hi, Mandy.
Valerie John.
Valerie
Karen
John.
from Papercrafts.
Good evening to you all. Yeah, so obviously if you're like Charlotte, who struggles with measuring the 1/8 of an inch, then just round, if you can, round it up. I would say round up. You don't want to round down, because obviously if you round down, you're more likely to make the box too small for what you're going for. Try and round up to the nearest quarter or half if you can, and then do that. Just bear in mind, obviously it may be bigger than you may need, so it may move around a little bit. So that's just something you just need to be aware of if you're going to be doing that. But if it needs to be specific, then try and get it down to your 1/8 of an inch. So that's in like that. Remember, I made sure that last tab was inside the box before I did this. And then move round a little bit of glue there. And then in like that. So that there. I love making boxes like this. I know I make boxes, I've got no use for them, which is why I don't make very many of them. But, and then that fits in. So then, Susan, if you've got more than this, you can then go with, they can then fit in like that. Okay, so you can then pile your cards on top so that you've got everything in there. So that's the base. All right, so now let's do with the, we're going to keep it simple for the lid. I want to do exactly the same measurement plus 1/16 of an inch, plus 1/16 of an inch to my box lid. Okay, so that's all we're doing. Keep it simple. So I don't think that there is going to be the correct. That one won't, but this one will. So we will have it as being so that's 6 3/8. So it's just there, plus a 1/16 of an inch. Oh, that's just slightly. I'm gonna have to use a whole new piece of paper, because that just is the 1/16 of an inch short, so it won't work. It will be too tight. So I'm just going to grab myself a new packet of paper, but don't worry, those offcuts will get used for stuff.
Some more cards.
Some more cards, yes.
What's the smallest box you can make?
Yeah, what is the smallest box you can make? I think really tiny. I don't know if you, but I do get a lot of joy with making boxes. Say that one, we've got nowhere to keep them, and so I'm going to do it this one here, which is 7 5/8 first. So I'm going to take this here to 7, count over my 1 2 3 4 5, plus a 1/16 of an inch, and then cut. Do this one here, which was 6 3/8, which was there, plus a 1/16 of an inch, which was there, and then we will then cut. Grab our Simply Scored, score at 1 inch on all sides. 1 2 3 4. Fold and burnish. So Susan, is this making sense for you? Hopefully this has answered your question. I wasn't going to do this tonight, but because you asked, it was a good opportunity to show you how to do a rectangle one as well.
So obviously I did say it depends if the people want to add the envelopes.
Yes. Yes, obviously envelopes will chunk that out, so you may want to...
Or widen it.
Or widen it as well. Actually, yes, I hadn't thought of that actually with this one here, did I? So I didn't add my... I didn't account for envelopes. Just measure the envelopes and then work it around that way.
We have that note card. I don't know if the envelopes is huge.
Are they?
It is pretty good.
You only scratch the top sheets. So is that the lids?
That's the envelope.
The envelope.
Yes.
Yes, so it goes in that way, but obviously I haven't accounted for the envelope to go in that way, so I just needed to make sure that it was just a little bit longer, so the measurements would change. So I forgot about envelopes. So this would work obviously if you've got a nice big chunky card which doesn't go in an envelope. So when measuring, measure your envelope. If you're doing it for the gift which Susan was talking about. And the final one. That's that one there. That then fits on top. That's a nice fit on that one. Really, really nice fit. That's and that's where you need the finger holes in there. It's not too bad, but you can, again, I didn't do them straight away, so it's a little bit harder for me to get those finger holes in, but you can manipulate this if you want to kind of go in like that, bend it back a little bit, pop some finger holes in there. See, if you want it to be thing, you might want to just have to measure that. I know Jay will be getting the measuring thing out, find exactly where the centre is, and making sure that thing. But that there, those finger holes are just so I can grab it and then pull that lid off. And that's how you do a rectangle box. But yes, do make sure that you account for your envelope when doing it. Sorry, I didn't do that. I did it as just being one. So that would be really nice if you've got a chunky card. I don't know if this would work. I think that's just the, yeah, that's the UK measurements. Can I show this one here?
If you want, yeah.
Is that, oh, that was team training, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh no, I won't show it because Jay's probably got that earmarked for something else. So if I show it, then he can't use it. Okay, but there, that's that. So that's how you do a rectangle box. So you would just measure, you would just change the measurements. So I think this size was, that side was fine.
Yeah, it just needs to be taller.
I just didn't measure this one here, so which is, say take that to, that'd be 5 7/8. So that's all you need to do. So that would be 7 7/8 is what you would need to take that to. So instead, for the base. And then that would, and then for the lid, you then do 7 7/8 plus a 1/16 of an inch. So yes, so if you're wanting to do it with the envelopes involved in it, I would say do it by a 7 7/8 by 7 by 6 3/8. Okay, For the lid, do it 6 3/8 plus a 16th of an inch by 7 7/8 plus a 16th of an inch, and then that will then accommodate your envelope like that. Okay. So there we have it. So Jay is going to come over now.
Sorry, Tommy.
And just quickly just finish up and just tart up that box a little bit. This one here, which was the original video for this one, and just show you and just tie a ribbon around it to make it look all nice and pretty. So I'll leave those down there just in case you need to screenshot it if you can read my writing. So there we go.
Do you just want me to tie a bow?
Yes.
Okay.
Or whatever you want to do. If you feel it needs, you want to do something else with it.
Oh, sorry. Were you gonna screenshot that one? I was just gonna use the crinkle ribbon because we have it. This is from Celebration. Also, that paper is from Celebration. Most adored specialty designers paper, and only available until the end of February 2024. So if you love that paper, do get it now. See, I was thinking, do you like... I do like a box with a double thing in. What do you call it? The double... like that. But I'm always... actually, that looks alright. To hold. So I'm just gonna cut that off. Do I need more? I think I need more. I haven't found the secret to properly measuring it. I always just have my piece of reel of ribbon and then gauge it that way, and the bottom's not that bad. Okay, that's fine. And then once that's done, I'm just gonna make sure that that is the same-ish. And I always like to weave it underneath. But if you want your ribbon to be part of the actual box, then you will need to adhere it underneath the lid. So that's a different way. Let's see. And then just tie a bow. Is that all you wanted me to do, Barry?
Yeah, that's all that was needed really, but I know that it would take me twice as long to do that. So.
Okay. My tail aren't as long as I wanted, but that's fine. I'll just tidy that up. And of course you can create tags as well. I'm just gonna cut the end off. I prefer this one. And once you've kind of like done your if you're happy with the contents on the inside, and you've tied your bow, and you thought, oh, how can I add? You can just use dimensionals or a piece of string to then tie it on the ribbon, so you don't have to undo it and kind of like feed in the twine underneath or something. But yeah, I think that looks nice.
Yeah, pretty.
Pretty.
Come on, Tommy.
There you go.
Yeah, please.
It's fine. It's fine. That'll do.
That'll do. So there we have it. Come on. Come on, show your face. That's it. Good boy. So, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found that. Interesting. So, and helpful for you.
Yes. Save and share. That would be amazing. I do love it.
Yes, I do like making boxes. So that's good. So there we have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, do just please reach out. We do our best to try and answer as many of you, or we try and answer you all as best as we can. If you don't get an answer straight away, just please just keep asking us. I like wonky bows, Charlotte just said there. Which is good. Lovely. Anything else?
No. What's happening? Oh yeah. No, I don't know.
So we have our painted lavender craft retreat coming up at the end of the month. There is still time to book in for the online version of that.
Yes.
So if you'd like to come along, then do head over to our website, mitosucrafts.com. And again, also remember, like I said at the beginning, you can purchase stuff from us. So just head over to our online shop, mitosucrafts.com/shop. And
that doesn't work. See, that's why it's like
oh,
that.
you nearly clocked me then. There we have it. So you can order your Stampin' Up craft supplies from us via there. So,
fluff.
So we're black and you've got white fur. It's a never-ending battle. So, yeah, we will be back with you again on Sunday, where Jay will be creating a lovely project.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do check us out on Sunday, same time, same place. And we'll see what Jay creates on Sunday, or what we create on Sunday. I joke saying Jay, but it probably will be Jay, but let's see. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.